This channel is not meant to put anyone down. This is just my raw reaction to certain videos and has nothing to do with the creator as a whole. A lot of these creators I react to, I actually really like. This is just my take on some of the information that is being put out there when it comes to certain Doordash topics. This channel is purely meant for entertainment purposes, and hopefully I can provide that for you guys along with providing a little additional information to what these creators are already giving you.
What's up guys, my name is Blake Moore. Welcome to More Finance Reacts, and today the video that I'm going to be reacting to is one from a really popular gig YouTuber. His name is Your Driver Mike. A lot of you guys have probably heard of him. He has 56.8 thousand subscribers and continues to grow. And a lot of his content is pretty good, to be honest with you. I've seen quite a bit of his videos, but I haven't seen this one. He put it out a little over a month and a half ago, and it's titled Maximize Your Doordash Earnings with Zero Peak Pay, 5 Tips for Any App. So I'm going to be going through seeing if the 5 tips he gives are the same as the 5 tips I would give, giving you guys any additional tips that I think would correspond to his title of Maximizing Your Doordash Earnings. And yeah, we'll see how this one goes. I'm expecting good things. So make sure you guys hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed the video.
Also, one thing I forgot to mention is I'm doing a giveaway for my first 1,000 subscribers over on this channel. I will choose one random subscriber to give $100 to once we hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. And also, if we get this channel to 1,000 subscribers by October 1st, I'll be letting you guys control my main channel, More Finance, for an entire week, where you guys will get to decide what videos I make. So if you want to be a part of either one of those, I just wanted to bring you guys some additional value if you hit that subscribe button.
And let's get right into this video.
Driving on delivery platforms, peak pay, bonuses, and incentives can obviously be a great way to earn more income. But what happens if your marketplace really doesn't have that? Well, in this video, I'm giving you 5 tips to maximize your income without peak pay. Now, if you're not familiar with the term, peak pay is really a DoorDash specific term that just refers to per delivery bonuses. It's found in the promo tab of your Dasher app, and it'll just tell you, hey, if you drive during these certain days and times, you'll get an extra whatever it is, $2, $3 per delivery. Most marketplaces at least have some peak pay during busy times. That's typically your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but of course, today we're going to talk about all those other times without peak pay. So the first thing that you have to come to terms with is you need to be realistic. Honestly, there is nothing that I can say here. There's no magic button in the app that's going to magically earn you $25 plus an hour on no peak pay. So if you don't want to be realistic, this video is not for you. Are you still here? So as long as you can be realistic with your non-bonus earnings, then this video is for you. So let's get into the tips of exactly how to do that. So the main things that you need to focus on are the actual things that you can control. Because obviously you can't control when these apps offer bonuses, how big they're going to be, how long they're going to last. But one thing that you at least have some control over are tips. So think to yourself, when do we leave a tip? It's kind of when we're wowed.
Hold up. How do we control our tips? Explain this to me. Because pretty sure, from my knowledge, DoorDash customers tip before you even receive the order. So unless he's talking about like additional cash tips, then that's going to be tough. And if he's talking about Uber Eats, then his title is misleading. So I guess let's find out and see what he says about how to control your tips.
Service, right? Well, if we look at some actual research, it shows that it's much more psychological. I want to go over this 2013 Cornell study that gives some recommendations of how to increase tips. Now, the study was done based on a restaurant setting with a server and a customer, but I think there's some good parallels because we're both in the service industry.
Okay, we are, but we're not, because I'm pretty sure you don't tip your server before you even sit down at the table. So the parallels are not very parallel. They more go like, they start at the same point, we both get tips, and then they go like that. Because I don't see much similarity between the two at all.
Here are the tips from the study, and I'll leave this linked down below in the description if you want to check it out. Now, not all of these relate, I feel like, to our niche here, but I want to highlight a few. For instance, the second recommendation here, introduce yourself by name. I think this is a big win, especially if you're in the rideshare space. And this relates to number 8, called your...
Okay. No hate on him, but why is he talking about the rideshare space when it says maximize your Doordash earnings with zero peak pay? I don't know. Just a little bit misleading.
Customer by name. So let's say you're driving for Uber and Lyft especially. Firstly, you introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Mike. Nice to meet you. And then you can say maybe number 7, repeat the customer's order. Now, for this niche, maybe you can just repeat their destination. So if we combine tip 2 with tip 7 and 8, it would be something like, hi, my name is Mike. Nice to meet you, Dan. Just to confirm, I have us going to ABC Theater. And I have to say, the times where my Uber and Lyft driver did call me by my name and or they did introduce themselves by name, I did feel better on that ride. So following some of these best practices, Dr. Michael Lin, the researcher of this study, found that tips on average increased by 10 to 30%. Number 6, here's another good one, especially if you're in the rideshare space. Entertain your...
Okay. I'm just getting a little bit annoyed that he's not talking about food delivery. Like, he literally says DoorDash earnings in his title.
Now, this one, I don't think you need to bring out all the bells and whistles. I would say this just refers to quality conversation and storytelling. So speaking of things that don't relate to our niche, number 5, touch your customer. Yeah, I don't recommend that for what we're doing. Let's see here. Number 11, smile. Again, it comes down to customer service, especially something for the delivery space. Let's turn our attention back to that. The Uber Eats, the DoorDash, and the Postmates. You're only interacting with these customers if it's not a contactless delivery for a very short amount of time. So service is key in those few seconds. So I'm a big advocate of number 11, smile, obviously have good service. And look at number 12. Again, referring to the restaurant space, this says write thank you on the check. So a parallel to what we're doing, again, you can maybe go back to number 8, calling the customer by name, and relating this back to number 12, simply saying thank you. So again, combining, let's say, number 11 with number 8, you can say, hi, Dan, I have your delivery for you. And then at the end, just simply thank them for the order and wish them a good day. Number 14 is actually an interesting one. Give customers candy. Again, please don't do that if you're a delivery driver just randomly.
Okay, well, like he's saying did not do these certain things as a delivery driver, but like your title says maximize your DoorDash earnings. So that would imply food delivery. I don't know.
In the rideshare space, that's been a practice for Uber and Lyft drivers really since the advent of the industry. This is really interesting because in the study, it referred to servers who, would typically sometimes they bring candy, but they'd bring the candy with the receipt. They would leave and come back with more candy, kind of like a surprise, even though this was a strategy. And then would say, you know what? You guys were so cool. You guys were so fun today. I actually brought you some more candy. And this research showed that the servers that did that added kind of that bonus candy, got even more tips. So if we can relate that back to the delivery space, think about those little surprise candy things that you can do in the delivery. What I mean by that is it's kind of like the delivery notes. If you see something in there in the notes that you can go above and beyond, it's kind of like that surprise candy. Think of this as something like they wanted you to grab extra hot sauce, all the taco bars and whatnot that we have here in San Diego. If you grab just a bunch of all different kinds, you can say, hey, I really didn't know which one you prefer, so I just grabbed you a bunch of all of them. Number 2, when it comes to earnings, the other side of net revenue is reducing expenses. So I'm a big advocate of researching hotspots, even hotspots that aren't marked in the app, let's say. And you're simply going to reduce your expenses, aka your miles, instead of driving around all over the place, just kind of waiting for an order, you park and you wait. And still,
I don't know if that strategy actually works. I feel like when I'm parked, I get a lot less orders. Comment down below if that happens to you. But when I'm driving around, it seems like I'm passing more restaurants because I kind of just go in like a loop and I'm passing restaurants, instead of just sitting at a restaurant when there's probably a couple other dashers sitting there as well. Then I've found that I actually get less orders and make less money. But if it works for him, it works for him. I don't think that's a very good tip.
Main thesis points of driving on these apps, that's the dollars to mile ratio. It's making educated decisions. I've seen good orders, actually one just recently, where it is an over $10 payout. But the dollars to mile ratio didn't really make sense. If you're unfamiliar, that's just a term that I use, the dollars that you're being paid for the miles driven. Nextly, especially in this current economy, that's driving on different apps. That's another big thing that I mentioned here on the channel if you haven't done so already. If you've been thinking about it and you just haven't signed up for the Doordash, the Postmates, the Grubhub, the Uber Eats, ideally, I feel like you should sign up for all of those. Then you can compare, of course, base pay. You can compare promos to, what's the goal of this? To maximize your pay.
I 1000% agree with him on that. Use as many apps as possible because it'll just help you make so much more money. It's just the bottom line, honestly, guys. Like, the amount I made when I was using 3 apps to what I'm making now, it's like a $10 per hour difference sometimes. And it's honestly makes me sad. Anyway.
Nextly, something that I've been thinking more of, especially as there really are more and more drivers in today's economy, and that's looking at apps that pay more of a flat rate per hour. But not only that, but apps where you can set your own rate per hour. Because I've mentioned Amazon Flex before. That's one of these apps that pays you a flat rate. It's going to be flat $18 per hour. That's before incentives. But think about other apps that let you set your rate, like the on-demand walking service from Rover or TaskRabbit, both of which let you set your own rate. And that's just 2 examples. So if you don't want the maybe volatility of these apps that it's based on the algorithm, supply and demand, you never really know what you're going to make until you get that request, well, consider apps where you can set your own rate. So if you are going to drive on these apps with no bonuses, with no incentives, well, number one, I want you to be realistic and really understand you can only make so much without these bonuses. But following some of the best practices here, if you are going to drive, my goal for you is to be in that top 15% of driver earners. So if you got value in this video, can you leave a like? And also I recommend checking the Amazon storefront link down below.
Guys, that does it for his video. Overall, I really don't think those were the best tips. I mean, the multi-apping one was good. Be realistic, that's another good one. Knowing your market, like, try and figure out what other people are making in your market and then go from there, because if you see a YouTube video where someone's making $35 an hour, then you go out and you're making 18, then you're probably going to be discouraged. But if 18 is really good for your area, then you shouldn't be discouraged and know that you're doing what you can with what you have. So overall, mediocre video, to be honest. I was expecting more. Maybe I got my hopes up too high because it was your driver Mike, and I thought he would have some better information, because personally, I do not believe you can control your tips. There's just no way, unless you're on Uber Eats, because they can adjust the tip and tip you after, or you're a rideshare driver. But the fact that his video is called Maximize Your Doordash Earnings, I just thought that was not very good. So there we have it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button for me, and also hit that subscribe button if you enjoy my content. And if we get this channel to 1,000 subscribers by October 1st, then I'll be letting you guys control my main channel, More Finance, for an entire week. So if you guys want to do that, be a part of that, make sure you subscribe. Get this channel to 1,000 subscribers by October 1st. And as you guys know, you're the best subscribers in the entire world. And I'll see you guys next time.